no man, no right to tell me what I should wear, what I put inside my body while pretending to care. There's no right, and we can live our life the way we like. No man, no right.
When I started writing a lot of the lyrics, there wasn't. It wasn't a concept album, but it kind of ended up that there's been this theme throughout the record of the majority of it is kind of from the perspective of a female, and kind of a lot of the challenges and you know, issues that surround that. I think what was interesting was this album, one of the things we wanted to address from it for our old stuff was that, seeing as I'd written all the lyrics a lot of the time, or, you know, various times there was other people, but I'd written a lion's share of the lyrics, it was always kind of from my point of view, from a third party, and what we wanted to address on this album was the fact that if Layla's singing the song, we wanted to imbue it with more of a sense of it coming from her, so we worked on more of the themes of the songs together and more of the lyrics, and it meant that just inevitably, a lot of the songs ended up being about females, from Echoes in the Dark, No Man, No Right, All the Same to Me, more body issues, Worship Yourself, in terms, and I think that it, because we was trying to write from the perspective of Layla, it ended up that a lot of the songs were from a female point of view, so hence the F-bomb, and it kind of, No Man, No Right was one of the last tunes to be written on the album, and that kind of encompassed everything, but that went through many different forms, that tune. We knew we wanted a tune that was about... Yeah, there's loads of different forms of that tune, and no, it's You Will Not Call Me Bitch. We knew we wanted a tune about the way that men sort of
well, it's like the double standard, isn't it?
And it, you know, and just the way that even in 2016 men treat women, and there's the internet's a very obvious and interesting sort of focal point from that. So I think the whole concept of friend zones, and, you know,
you deserve it if you're wearing a short skirt.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. You know. You know, even now in America, there's those issues, and, you know, and the rest of the world. So yeah, I think the main theme has been from the trials and tribulations of female kind.
Oh, mine change all the time. So Worship Yourself is my favourite at the moment, and that was written about a friend of mine who was in an abusive relationship for like 10 years, and she just couldn't get out. She knew it was horrible and it was making her miserable. She saw the signs and knew that this guy was like the worst person ever, but she just found it impossible to get out and actually see the person that everyone sees and loves for who she is. So that's one of my favourite songs, and I remember coming up with the idea for it, and I was on the bus, and I recorded it into my phone and sent it to Barney and James. I was like, oh, I've had this idea, like do they, like, listen to this, and that it was such an easy song to write. It just came together really quickly, and Echoes in the Dark, just because it's epic and really. It was really fun to sing, and really, like, gave it my all. It's quite emotional.
So I'd say, I mean, it's a kind of I guess I think maybe Train Leaves Tomorrow, because even, like, obviously it's very hard to be objective about your own songs, but I feel like the chorus of that, it is kind of, it just works, and it's kind of better than anything we've ever done in some ways. So I'm kind of proud of that one, because I think the chorus is, from like a musical, harmonic, melodic perspective, it really works and moves around nicely, and it's kind of like, it doesn't even feel like we've written it. It just feels like this is like it's a proper tune.
But also LOVE, because in the past we've kind of like flirted with like sort of funky, disco-y type songs, but we've always gone, oh, that's so not Sonic Boom 6. Like, we could never do that. But with LOVE, it came together. Like, James had this, like, riff that sounded like Cap Down, and then I don't know, it's sort of like when we were writing it, it all kind of changed and like turned into this sort of like funky pop song. And I love it because we actually had the guts to record it and put it out rather than go, actually Sonic Boom 6 wouldn't do that. So we just went with what we thought.
So 3 songs out of the 10 are your favourite?
What? Yeah, so, yeah, but I said I can't decide. They change every day, and they've got different stories behind them. So, yeah, so LOVE is a good one. And it's fun to play live as well. Slightly wordy, but it's fine.
The main thing with that video was it was kind of like that song was almost the kind of, because they were the first 2 tunes to come out, No Man No Right and From the Fire to the Frying Pan, and it's funny because thematically they've encompassed how the album has been taken and what the album is about. And in terms of the actual art, there's the No Man No Right and it's the F, and then there's the From the Fire to the Frying Pan, that if you want to hate me, here I am. That whole lyric is the cover, and that was interesting because when we put the cover out, it got a mixture of responses as we were expecting, and as any sort of contentious piece of art is gonna. But when they came up with the idea for that video, it was very much the idea was we needed to do something that was within a budget, and then we needed to. I was thinking we need to do something that's very shareable on social media, and it's about social media. So, well, it's about the influence that social media can have on people, and yeah, I did. It was influenced by another video, which was just a hip hop video where they'd used Netflix to do some lyrics, and you'd be scrolling through the videos. So we were like, well, let's take that to the next level, and let's do social media, but we'll have the lyrics as the Facebook posts and stuff. So I think that it's been really well received, and I think people. I hope that people sort of understand the story of what, the point being that people can get radicalised when they have what is really quite an outlandish and militant and extreme opinion or viewpoint that can be galvanised and sort of projected back at them in this echo chamber. And I mean, the same goes for being a conservative or liberal or whatever. The same goes, and it's more just about thinking the idea that if you use social media to just reinforce your own viewpoint and create this silo where it's the same opinion again and again, it can actually have some kind of extreme outcomes, and you see the extreme outcomes at the end in terms of things that have ironically been shot on the bus or in a takeaway and then shared on social media, of the outcome of a lot of the sort of messaging that gaus around when we're in the kind of times we are now, where people are struggling and these ideas gain more weight in times where the country and the world isn't doing as well as it has been at other points. So,
and there's also the point that when you're a teenager and you're living in a society where there is so much hatred and aggression, it's not that your mind isn't fully developed, but it's very easy to latch onto something, an idea, and a notion where you can identify with it, or you want to belong in it. You want to belong in some kind of community or some kind of group where you feel at home, or you feel welcomed. And sometimes these groups are the groups like I don't even know why I can't even speak, like the BNP kind of thing. It's brainwashing. It's the brainwashing of young people as well, in the economic times that we live in, to kind of go, well, you know what, if it wasn't for Muslim people coming in, then everything would be much better. People can be very easily influenced.
It was actually about one of our fans that we just saw turn. That's what the genesis
and
of the idea was.
And he was only about 18.
Yeah, he was 18
or
19, and then he just started going. It started off with just for the sake of argument, does anyone think that, you know, and then it just got more and more outlandish, and he's kind of pulled back from it now, I've noticed, but that was the idea. It was just actually seeing somebody and seeing them gradually over the space of a few months start questioning some stuff, and then just then it just turning into like, okay, well, why am I not allowed to say this? And it's that whole mentality of like, you know, if anyone argues with me, we're just digging his heels in more and more and more.
Yeah. If
and
you don't like it, unfriend me.
Yeah.
Kind of attitude.
But the point is that we're all the same, and you know, it's seeing people as looking deeper to actually understand that there's a person beneath everybody, and we can't just judge human beings in you know, great numbers by using the lowest common denominator or using the behaviour of one person to signify, you know, 300,000 people. So,
and it's throwing it out there as well, because, you know, a lot of people, a lot of our fans as well didn't know that I come from a Muslim background. So it's kind of like, we've had people at our gigs that, like on my timeline on Facebook, you know, when something extreme happens, you see like some people commenting like, you know, about refugees and immigration, but they're massive fans of Sonic Boom 6, and they're commenting like, you know, refugees shouldn't be allowed, and sharing like really racist stuff, but they don't quite, but then they like Sonic Boom 6, and it's kind of like, well, this is Sonic Boom 6, you know, this is me. And if you think all Muslims and immigrants should go back, then, you know, you're actually including someone that you listen to and like. So it's kind of throwing that out there as well.
I think it was mostly positive. People mostly got it. There was only like, because you when you get the people that are just like, that will just say, they'll still say such awful things that I'm not even going to repeat it, because it's like, that just goes over my head. So I can't, you know, they'll just say something that's, you know, explicitly racist and unapologetically so. And that's just, I don't even engage with that. I'd never reply to that. You know, but we did have a few people that sort of were like, you know, we're talking about the shock value of it. And of course, it's supposed to be challenging and contentious, but it was never supposed to be shock value. And I think that there was a lot of discussion on Twitter about the bomb element of it, and sort of conflating the bomb with the sort of Muslim and the terror, you know, the terrorism and that whole that sort of whole concept. But that was never a big part of it. We were never like, oh right, and then we'll write bomb, and then everyone will think, oh, it's about it. It was never a big part of it. The F-bomb was
to me,
actually,
it's like the female like the female takeover.
But we sort of acknowledged, we knew that was there, and we kind of, and that's there as well. But it was never about shock value. But the most people have really got it and really understood it. There was a few people that kind of goes, can you explain that? And we didn't want to explain it. But then when I realised we were going to have to, then we just went, okay, well, let's do this properly. And we just did that interview with Rock Sound, which was really good. And then we put that out there, and then we did the video, and then we're not going to say nothing about it again, really.
Yeah, to me, I don't understand why it is shocking. It shouldn't be shocking seeing a woman like this, because, you know, just because the press and the media say that this equals danger, it isn't. So it just shows how much it sort of gets ingrained into everyone's mentality that this is bad when it's not. In.
Someone was moaning at me the other day because we were like, why are you in? Why do you want to remain? I was like, because Boris Johnson wants us out. It's as simple as that. I'm not even... And he was like, oh yeah, well, you know, you've got to take all the elements of the debate. And it's like, well, I'm not saying if you want to be out, you're a racist bigot. I'm just saying I know that man, I do not agree with him. And I think, you know, everything he does is pernicious, and he plays his role very well of a bumbling fool, but he's said some absolutely disgusting, snobby, judgmental things, and it's enough for me to just go, well, I mean, I just want to remain anyway. I read something recently, and it was amazing, because it was saying
we have a government to make these decisions for us, and this kind of decision should not be put upon our shoulders. We should not, as a country, should not have to. We're not knowledgeable enough. Like, I'm sure there are some people, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know whether we should be in the EU or not. I want to be, because I believe that we should be. I think of the world as a whole, not as I come from this little island and that's all I care about. Because, you know, even with the feminism thing, you know, there's people saying, well, we're lucky, you know, now we can vote and we can buy this and we can buy that. And it's like, but I don't care about that. I want to know that a woman from another country is, you know, is having a good life, has the rights that I have, that even could be much better. You know, that where she lives is striving for equality for men and women. So to say, if I said I wanted to be out, it's just wrong, because it's the world. It isn't about where you come from. Yeah, we've got, we're playing Fuse Festival in Lichfield. We've got Boomtown, which is like the mother of all festivals. What else have we got? We've got a couple of acoustic things coming up. And Brighton Undercover Festival. Oh, yeah. I'm going to try not to forget any. I think that's it. Boomtown's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boomtown's the one where we play and then we disappear for 2 days and come back and just go, oh, I'm never doing that again. And Madness are playing. So we're going to go for the weekend and have a great time and try and not be too rough for Sunday when we play.
All the boys on the left wanna